It's time for Motorhead Garage, and you know what that means. Time to unload your favorite project vehicle and get busy. Today, Sam and Dave delve into doing a better job of bolting a beadlock. And an exclusive look at eavesdropping on an exhaust system enhancement before turning a single wrench. All that and more next.
Welcome to Motorhead Garage. Well, today Dave and I got a rock crawler here. Pretty popular sport, and this is a big buggy. It's got a big block Chevrolet motor in it, four-wheel drive, powered by propane, and it's got some pretty big tires on it. Not only these tires fool you, there's not a lot of air in these, and if you guys rock crawl, you know, when you get up on the rocks, you lower the pressure on these things, make them pretty soft. If you're working them hard, the tire would want to come off the wheel. They got some special wheels. Let Dave and I show you a little bit about what we got over here. You get that apart yet, bud?
Well, now you're done talking. I can finally get back to work here.
There you go.
All right. Folks, what we have here is what we call a beadlock wheel. Now, in the old days, you know, the guys had sprint cars and drag cars. What would happen is they'd run so much low air pressure in their tires, they literally could spin the wheel in the tire, or in like the sprint and midget car guys, they could actually pop the bead right off the wheel. So what they did is they would go and they drill holes around the rim and screw in like big old sheet metal screws right into the bead of the tire to keep it from slipping. Well, somebody had a great idea, says, let's do something better than that. So they came up with these beadlock wheels, and that's what we have here.
You can see the wheel is already set up, and it's pre-drilled and threaded, and instead of the tire bead being looped inside, it lays on the outside. Then you have this piece.
Yeah, and what this does, this fits right over the top. Now, you don't normally have to take it off the vehicle to do this, but we did this so you could see it. You want to make sure you let all the air out of the tire first before you do that. Otherwise, you could be in a little bit of a problem there. That's pretty dangerous. Now, we're going to put high-quality ARP bolts back into this thing.
That's right. And, you know, this is aluminum, so you want to make sure you start all your bolts by hand, and you're going to want to torque them properly. So to get good consistent torque for good clamp load, to clamp that bead between the wheel and this cover, you want to make sure you put some good assembly lube on it.
Exactly, and this is what we're using right here. This is ARP's Ultra Torque Lube. You don't have to use a lot on there, but just a little bit on the threads. The reason for that is because you want to have consistent torque around there. Of course, we've talked about torque before, but one thing people have to understand about torque, it's nothing more than the actual measurement of the stretch of a bolt. Now, we don't have a stretch gauge for this, but what you can use is a good torque wrench. You want to make sure it's calibrated. But you can see this is what these bolts look like. These are nice polished stainless steel ARP bolts. These are the things that really dress this up.
It's not only dress up, these are strong. 170,000 PSI tensile strength. And if you notice the old bolts we took out that came with this wheel, they had washers under them, especially if you're in dirt. You drop a washer, you're chasing it. If you look closely at this ARP bolt, it has a great flange on it. You're not gonna have to deal with a washer. And of course, as you put your Ultra Torque Lube on here, a little bit under the head, so it acts like a bearing surface where it goes onto the wheel. That does a great job. That way you can get a good, even torque. And when it comes to torquing them, of course, use a crisscross pattern, get them nice and even, and torque them in stages. What do we got, about 25 foot-pounds?
Yeah, 25 foot-pounds on this, and then we'll be in business on it. So I'll go ahead and run these things down.
All right, buddy, that should get you started.
We have the torquing wrench here, Sammy. All right, now we torque these down to 25 foot-pounds.
And you can see this little gun had no torque at all, so it didn't hurt him.
That's the key. You don't want to zap these things down with an impact gun.
But that's real tempting.
Yeah, it is, especially when we got so many of them, but we used a little light one there, just enough to run it down. Now you want to take this up in a couple of stages because it's going to compress a little bit.
And then when you got it all the way down, get everything torqued nice and even, and you know you got a good firm grip on it, then you can air up your tire and put it back on. Want me to do some of that?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and finish that, but it does look good.
It looks great.
Time now for the industry update.
Hey, here's something Sam and I have run across we want to pass on to you folks. These are brand new tires here from Atturo, and these are pretty neat. They are a crossover tire. They're designed for SUVs, crossovers, and light trucks. And they come in the mud and snow variety as well.
Yeah, they got a whole lineup here. These are good tires. They're great in the rain. Now take this here. This is their AZ800, for example. This is a high-speed tire, the Z-Speed rated, super low profile. This particular one's a 24-inch. Got an asymmetrical tread pattern. Really spreads the load out, makes the car handle good. It's got the rim protector on here and an aggressive sidewall.
And likewise on this one too. It's got the rim protector, high tensile wire here in the bead. Plus it's got what they call a heavy block shoulder here, which gives it better handling, better steering. And it has the SRG, it's the sloped radius gradient on here. And what that does is that prevents uneven wear, better cornering, better handling as well.
Right. It's a great upgrade from OE tires if you're going to bigger tires. They also have tires available in run flat models, so Attoro's got you covered.
Actually, and you can see these are the low profile type of tires here, so if you want more information about it, all you have to do is go to their website and check it out.
Don't go away. More Motorhead Garage coming up. This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by Original Parts Group, the world's largest source for GM A-body parts and accessories. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radio since 1977. Hypertech, the world leader in high-performance engine tuning products. And by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, Dave and I got that beadlock tire all put back together, actually put air in it, put it back on the machine. Now we're doing a couple other things. Here we got a front differential cover. These differentials were recently serviced, but look at the bolts I'm taking out of this. These are offshore, cheap socket head cap screws. These are bad material. Here's what's going to happen to you. First off, they'll break off if they get stuck a little bit, and the reason they'll get stuck is because of the cheap metal they're made out of, especially going into aluminum. Now this goes through an aluminum cover into a cast iron housing, but these things will get galvanic corrosion between dissimilar metals. They'll give you all kinds of problems. We're going to install some really nice ARP cap screws. They've got the nice 3/8 head, and they've got a nice flange on them. And these threads are really nice threads because it's a 3/8/16. I'm going to put a little of the ARP Ultra Torque. Now, the torque on this cover is not critical, but what the Ultra Torque is going to allow us to do is A, get a nice even torque, and B, it's good practice. Also, keep these things from sticking in there. Later on, after going through mud and water and all the things these things go through, you want to service it, they'll come out easily, and you can take your differential cover off. All right, a little bit of Ultra Torque on these. You don't need a lot. We'll pop this in. I'll do it to all of them. By the way, you notice I didn't take all the bolts out. I didn't need to service it one at a time. I can change them all without losing the fluid. And I'll go ahead and tighten these up. Let's see what Davey's doing at the back of his vehicle.
All right, I'm taking these things out. Okay, I got them out. Now, I'm going to give you a little tip here. Now, these all came out relatively easy. I was a little surprised because a lot of times they don't. But take a look at these bolts that they use. These have an Allen socket in the top of them. It's a rounded head like this. What I did is I used a long wrench like this in order to make sure I could break them loose and get them out rather than an impact gun. The reason for that is because sometimes this Allen wrench right here can just twist right out of here, booger that hole up, and if that happens, then you're in real trouble because this is all rounded here. You'll never get this thing out. Little tip here for you is when you're doing this, and they are hard to get out, take a little bit of valve lapping compound, put it on the end of your Allen wrench, stick it in the hole like so. What this does, gives it a lot of extra grip in there, and if you take it easy, you can break these things loose without damaging the head. But then once you get these things out, what I'm doing here is replacing them all with these beautiful ARP fasteners. As Sam said, you know, these are high tensile strength, stainless steel. But the thing I like about it is, see, it's got a hex on the end of it. This way, once you get them in, if you ever need to get them out, which you will once in a while, it's easier to get a hold of them and get them out. Now, one of the things I like to do then is Put a little bit of lube on here. We'll go ahead and stick these in. Again, I like to get them finger tight, start them like that, and then get them torqued, and then we're in business. And what I did is I just went around here and took one at a time out of there, which made it a lot easier. Didn't have to break that seal. That way, I'm in pretty good shape.
How you making out, buddy?
I'm doing good, except I thrilled myself with my air ratchet.
You know, this guy, he could use some header bolts. I got some nice ARP header bolts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and start taking these out. I may as well throw him a little bonus. I got the front differential all done.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, I can throw some header bolts on here. What do you think?
All right, well, I'm getting these screwed in. These are going in pretty nice. I'll go ahead and tighten these up. Go ahead and torque everything. And this is going to be in good shape. And you go ahead and get those header bolts out. In the meantime, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got a lot more Motorhead Garage coming at you.
Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, coming to you from Orla Commerce Park.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, you might wonder what I'm doing under here. Well, I'll show you in a minute. What we have here, folks, is a 2015 Mustang GT. Now, these are quite the performance car. Now, of course, once you get something like this, you always like to increase the performance a little bit more, and especially the sound, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to be putting a new catback exhaust system on here. This is the stock unit here. You can see, even now, it's still new, it's still got rust starting to form on it. We're going to put a stainless steel system on here from Borla. Now, one of the things about putting on an exhaust system, especially you want to increase the sound and the performance, you're never going to know what it's going to sound like until you put it on. And of course, put it on, and you don't like the sound, well, you're stuck with it. Well, that's not the case with Borla. They've got a way of finding out what this is going to sound like before you ever put it on, so you can figure it out. What we're going to do is put on the attack system on here, which really makes this car sound great and come to life. Now, one of the things I've done here, you notice I put this little strap on here. What I'm doing is I'm going to disconnect this system right here, right up here, but it's connected here and in the back. I need some helping hands, and Sam's up here on the simulator playing around with that, so I have to figure out how to do this myself. So I just put a strap on here, throw it over the drive shaft. This will hold it up while I can take it apart. Let's check out Sam, see what he's up to. And meanwhile, I'm going to take this off.
You know, this is a really neat tool that Borla's put together. Now, you've been to car shows and racetracks, and you see where they have these simulators where people can get in them and drive them, test their skills on different tracks and so on. This is a little different approach. It's got speakers here, speakers up front. It's got a driver's compartment with a great seat. You sit in it, you drive the car, but you can select the 3 different levels of performance sound that Borla offers. You got a pretty good idea what your car is going to sound like with the different levels of exhaust. And here's the exhaust system we're going to put on today. Now, this is a pretty neat car, like a new supercar, and we got Borla exhaust here, got some nice mufflers, we got an X-pipe. This is all stainless. And to tell us a little bit about how these things work, we got Patrick Martis here. Patrick, come on in, and thanks for coming here and telling me about this. Now, what kind of, this is all stainless, is that right?
Everything's stainless, yes.
Got beautiful polished stainless tips with rolled edges, so it looks good, but it's more than a pretty suit.
It is.
Tell us how this all works.
So what you have there is a muffler, and it's actually from another application, but what you see here is a straight-through core design. On the original equipment mufflers, just like on this Mustang, there's actually 3 mufflers on the Mustang. They all have baffles inside of them. This one don't have any baffles. Everything's going to be straight-through core. Now, this is going to be very aggressive. This is the attack. That's why you only have 1 tube right there that has the perforated holes.
Okay, and this is fiberglass?
That fiberglass filament is going to help you absorb the sound and the heat.
Okay, so that actually acts as like an internal heat shield.
It
So you don't
does.
heat up the car?
It does.
All right, so this is the attack system, and this is all stainless and welded. Now, you have 2 other levels of sound.
We do. We have the touring and the sport. And let me say something else about the flow, too. When you're getting rid of those 3 mufflers and you have this X-pipe, also is going to help your flow instead of having that front muffler like on the OE system.
So you really don't build more horsepower. You just release the horsepower that's trapped in the exhaust, bring it to the rear wheels.
Exactly. Get rid of that restriction in the original equipment exhaust.
That's great. Let me check on Davey. Hey, Dave, you need some help over there, buddy?
Anytime. I could use some help under here. I figured it all out by myself, though.
Well, that's good. Good. I got the instructions over there, and, you know, I hate to leave you loose, because what if you take an off back? Oh, you got these bolts out already, I see.
Yeah, I've done everything to help you out there.
All right, well, tell me what to do now.
All right, now, if you can pop those loose.
Oh, were they hooked on? Oh, there you
Yeah.
go, okay.
I got the bolts out. Now, we'll drop it down, we'll slide it forward, and you just got to pull those out.
We're taking this all at once. Let's show you got condensation running down your arm.
That's all right, I'm standing out of the way.
Don't hurt me.
All right, one's out.
There we go.
All right,
We're gonna have to pick it up. Go back
wedge.
there. There we go.
drop her down. I like it when they do it all in one piece.
Exactly. That's a heavy little unit.
All right, yeah, I got stuff coming out of this thing. Anyway, all right, bud, I appreciate you helping me out. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to go up with the new boiler system, so stick around. All right, help me carry this thing out of here, will you?
Come on, you're on your own. You can do it. You're a big boy.
Grab a hold of it.
Come on.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by Bison Bumpers, custom ATV and UTV bumpers and accessories. Bullet Liner, high caliber protection. Borla, the world's most winning exhaust. And by Atturo Tires. Atturo keeps performance within reach.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, we got the old exhaust system off, and Sam and I are getting ready to put on our new boiler system. And Sam, this is something a lot of people really don't understand what it's all about, the X-pipe.
You know, the neat part about an X-pipe is it's welded together, but there's a passage that crosses over. It helps to scavenge the exhaust gases, balances the exhaust pulses. It helps to develop performance, but it actually makes the exhaust sound really good.
It does. It's an old performance trick, been around for a long, long time.
Right.
Sometimes you see an H-pipe guys will use.
Chrysler used that for years.
Yeah. But anyway, this is going to go right on up here. Now, these clamps you want to save. If they're good, you can reuse them. If not, you'll need to get some new ones. So we'll put that on. Well, I'll go ahead and tighten this up.
You do get new clamps with the boiler system, nice band clamp. All right, and the pipes are all mandrel bent. And again, we mentioned earlier, they're stainless. And the beauty of stainless is you're not going to have to worry about rust issues and corrosion. Let me know when you're lined up and go forward.
All right. Okay, here we go.
And you know, they build everything on a jig, and their hangers all line up great. We got to go forward with this pipe a little bit here.
All right.
There we go. Now we're home free.
You okay there?
Yep. And we won't tighten that up until we get the muffler positioned here.
All right, let's get this other one up here.
And the pipes are marked left and right. As long as you know left from right, that's a challenge for Davey, but as long as you know that, I'm sorry.
Has been. Go ahead. All right, we're on.
Yep, got to go forward now.
Okay, whatever you need to do, you got it.
Well, we got to go in forward, but there we go. Perfect.
All right, now you got that hooked up?
Yep. And you can see it clears all up in here where the original OE pipes went. And again, the exhaust flow is nice because it's all mandrel bent. This will be left side muffler.
Left side, so it goes over there.
Plugs right into the stock hanger, like so.
While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and tighten these up.
Don't tighten it yet, buddy.
No, I won't. I'm just going to snug this a little bit more over here, because that's what's going to work.
I have to come forward just a little bit. I'm gonna need your help over here, big boy.
You need my help?
Yeah, I hate to admit that, but I do.
What do you need here?
We gotta
Oh, okay.
put a little bit of an angle there.
Yeah, I tell you what.
You gotta push this in. You gotta push this way. There we go.
Now, the trick on this is when you put all this stuff up, you want to leave it all loose. You don't want to tighten anything up until you get everything mounted. Then you can go ahead, put it together, tighten it up, and you'll be all right.
Yep.
I think we're okay there. Let's go ahead and we'll slide this one on. Boy, are these pretty or what?
Very nice. The tips are beautiful, and they line right up.
All right, can you push that a little forward, a little bit more in the hanger?
Push on that so it'll go through the hanger.
There we go.
All right.
It takes a man to do this.
It does.
I
It does.
swear.
Have you seen any around?
All right, now you got to pull it back just a little bit. There we go. Okay. All right. All right. Now we can.
If you push up on that, it should go together good.
All right. There we go.
Got it up.
Okay. All right. That's good. All right. Yeah.
We're
We'll
gonna drive that in a little bit
Let's
more.
make sure we got everything up there. We got clearance. All right. What we're going to do is we'll check everything. We're going to tighten these up. We're going to drop this down. We're going to see if we can make some noise with it.
This pipe needs to go forward. See? right over here.
Perfect. All right. All right. Now,
Tighten those suckers up.
here, Sam.
Got the clearance, look at that, that's nice.
All right. All right, let's see what this baby sounds like. Whoa! Now that's a sound.
That sounds great, Dave. You know, this Bowler exhaust system went on easy, fit good. Look at how nice and tight the clearance is where the tips come through. This looks good, fits good, and it's gonna work good. Sounds great. Well, listen, we're out of time this week. We'll see you next time here at Motorhead Garage. Davey, let's pick up some of this stuff and then we'll go for a ride.
I'm stuck in this car, I'm sorry. One of the things I like to do then is, like Sam said, whoop there, put that down here.